Hello and welcome to Miko Microlearning. This is the 8th video in the dynamic array series. This one focusing on WRAPROWS and WRAPCOLS. In the previous video we covered 2 rows and 2 calls, and this is the opposite effect. So it takes a row or a column and wraps it in a 2-dimensional array. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about the syntax. We're going to wrap row-wise, we're going to wrap column-wise. We're going to talk about when it doesn't end up in an even amount and how we need to pad. And then I'm going to give you a use case. As a reminder, we are going through all of the dynamic array functions, and after this video we will be through all of these. The next one I'm going to do is XLOOKUP, which is a big favorite of a lot of people because it fixed a lot of the issues with V and H lookup. So let's take a look at WRAPROWS and WRAPCOLS. Okay, so first of all, the syntax. So WRAPROWS and WRAPCOLS are dynamic array functions, but they take in a vector. So it cannot take in a 2-dimensional array. They take in a vector of either 1 column or 1 row. The second parameter is a little confusing, so I have to remind myself. So when we're wrapping rows, that means we're going to start the wrap horizontally. We're going to wrap in the row this way. And the wrap count is how many items to put in a row before wrapping. That's when we're in WRAPROWS. In WRAPCOLS, it's how many things to put in the first column before wrapping to the next. Pad width is when it doesn't end in an even amount, and instead of it says, what do you want to put there? We'll see that in a moment. I'm going to do a couple of these. Let's go to C12, okay, or this is D12. Okay, let's go to D12. And we have the numbers 1 through 22 written in A12 to A33. And I want to wrap them in 2 columns using WRAPROWS. I'm going to type in here WRAPROWS, A12 to A33, that's the vector. And I'm going to wrap in 2 columns, so that means I'm going to wrap row-wise, but I'm going to go over 2 things before I wrap to the next row. Comma, and then I'm just going to end parenthesis. And you see the direction, this was the original vector, and it goes this way, 1, 2, and then wraps 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm going to do that in 3 columns, and you're going to notice a little bit of an issue. So I'm going to wrap the same thing, the array in A12 to A33. I'm going to wrap rows once again, A12, A33, and this time I'm going to do with 3 in a row before I wrap. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you get the gist of that. But you see, because it's 22 and that's not evenly divisible, we have NA and NA. Okay, so what we're saying there is, hey, we wrapped as far as we could, but you have these 3 columns. It's a 2-dimensional array, so I'm just going to throw in a kind of an error there, and I want to control that. So instead of wrapping in instead of having an error there in NA, the third parameter says I can control what I want to put in there. So I'm going to say 99. Okay, I don't know. I could put null in there. I could put a blank. I could put empty, whatever I want. Okay, but this is, I'm going to put 99 in there. So now it controls that. So that vector, that input vector, does not have to be vertical. It could be also horizontal. So in B9 to A8, I have the alphabet. I'm going to show you we can do WRAPROWS, right, to wrap it into the alphabet into 2 columns. Okay, so what did I say? That was in B9 through AA9. And I'm doing WRAPROWS again, and it's going to be evenly divisible, so I'm not going to deal with the pad width. But I'm going to say wrap it 2 in a row before wrapping, and I get this. Okay, you know the alphabet, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so it's wrapping this way. If I do that same vector, okay, if I do the same vector, and if I go to B9, AA9, but this time I'm going to wrap calls. Okay, so I'm going to say B9 through AA9, which is where my alphabet lives. And this time I'm going to say I want it to wrap in a column, so it's going to go down, okay, and then over. So how many do I want in this column before wrapping? Well, if I want to create this kind of grid I have here, it's going to be 13. So now notice these two have the same shape, 2 by 13. But when I use WRAPCOLS, it wraps in columns. So it fills column 1, 13 items is what I said, and then goes to column 2. Okay, so neat, kind of useful. I do get confused myself, when I think about it, but obviously it's easy enough to change if it doesn't wrap the way you want it to wrap. Here's a use case, and this would be a good use case because often we get data from a system that is a proprietary data set and it's in a weird format, but maybe we have something like this. So for every kind of record, I have the employee name, the department, the status, the years of service, employee name, department, status, years of service. That's not really tidy, structured data. I want to make it structured data. Okay? I want to have all of Andrew's information in row 1, all Brock's in row 2, all Kel's in row 3. So basically, I want Andrew accounting full-time 5 to be this way, and then Brock engineering part-time 8. So what I'm doing is, think about it, I'm going over this way, and then I'm wrapping it to the next row. Okay? I am going to say, okay, this data is in A6 to A45. I'm going to go over 4 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, before wrapping. I'm going to say equal wrap rows. Oops. A6 to A45. And I'm going to say 44, and I don't think I'm going to have this, but I'm going to say no items. If there's no items, if it's not, but I'm not going to have this because I know everything. Everyone has 4 columns of data. What did I do there? Oh, it's actually, what am I doing? It's C6 to C45. There we go. All right, there we go. So that's what I wanted. I was wrapping I don't know why I have this up here. Confused myself. But anyways, we're taking Andrew, counting full-time, then Brock, so we're wrapping it. Now we have structured data. It's actually a dynamic array. Remember dynamic array functions, return dynamic array functions. And this is a very nice use case for WRAPROWS and WRAPCOLS. As I mentioned, our next video, it's actually going to be 2 or 3 videos. I'm not sure at this point. It's going to be XLOOKUP, which is really a powerful video, and Excel got it right. Microsoft got it right because they corrected a lot of things that were problematic with V and XLOOKUP. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and until next time, take care.